What's up? Welcome to Santanology. This is my first podcast, and I'd like to thank everyone for watching who do happen to watch. So, I just wanted to talk about certain things, certain current events, give my opinions on them, ramble about a couple things, and see what you guys, if you have any questions to ask that I could possibly put on the next podcast. I'm gonna start it off, and I'm gonna get right into it. So, the first thing I want to talk about is the Rockefeller Center Christmas tree. Apparently, there was an owl found inside the tree. It was unharmed. It was okay. But there's a lot of conspiracy theories going around about this owl representing something and it being found in a Rockefeller tree and that being coincidence. I'm not sure what the actual ties are that applies to whatever conspiracy they're contributing it to, but I thought that was really interesting. I always find it interesting when the internet can literally take two random things and just, pull them together by applying them as some sort of cohesive theory, which just ends up being the most ridiculous conspiracy theory. I think they were saying something. I don't know how you pronounce this name. It's like a Greek goddess, Minerva. They were saying the owl has to do something with Minerva found in the Rockefeller tree, and they all prayed to the owl or something like that. I have no clue what they're going on about, but it's some pretty far out stuff, and I thought that's pretty interesting. I did, rich people praying to owls. I'm not really versed in that topic, but it's an interesting topic to say the least. I just think it's a cute story. I just felt like talking about it because I see it everywhere on the internet. People are bringing it up on places like Reddit, other forums and other places and other, social media gatherings. And a lot of people are going in on the theories. I'm not going to quote anybody or reiterate what they said, but a lot of it has to do basically with the typical conspiracy where rich people are worshiping owls or something like that. But yeah, that's pretty cool. If anyone knows anything about that, would like to message me about it, I would suggest you do so. Enlighten me, but I need to be educated on it. I don't understand the link between rich people and owls. I would like to know. I read through it, but none of it seemed cohesive. None of it seemed coherent. So I'm just gonna leave that as that. That's the opening piece. Now the next thing I want to talk about is the state of Georgia. I think it was yesterday. They on 11/19 they certified the results of the election held within their state, and they were in favor of Biden. So Trump lost that state officially on the record, legally. I don't think there's any other measure he could take to try to win that state back. Uh, he's been pretty valiant at trying to maintain control or trying to keep his foot in the door as far as maintaining his status as president and trying to, absolve Biden from the presidency and all that. Um, I think this is very good news. I like to see. At first I wasn't a fan of Trump. Then I started to get around to liking him. I just like the idea that a TV personality, was running the country and it was doing something different. He wasn't just a rhino, but it seemed like he actually held the values to heart. I think that was a really cool thing. Cutting taxes, that was pretty cool. I didn't agree with all his policies, like lifting some of the restrictions on the environment, like polluting waterways and stuff like that. That stuff was pretty far out for me because I need to drink healthy water so I can stay alive. Can't be drinking, what is it, Daiichi or Fukushima radiated water. I'm trying to stay here for a while. But yeah, Georgia recertified it in Biden's favor, and I'm trying to see where they're gonna take this now. Are they just gonna abandon Georgia and try the other states? Would it matter? Honestly, I know they were talking about Detroit or Detroit, Michigan turning red, but I don't know that state to ever be a red state. Since when was Detroit a red area? Like, it's always been liberal. It's always been blue. I think there's a high percentage of African Americans within that state, within that city, and there's no way that they can argue that that area can be considered to be considered to be under a fraud context due to the fact that it's always been liberal. I don't understand the fact that they actually think they can flip it red. To me, it's just like they're feeding into their delusions, if anything. And I would hope they're not delusional. I just hope that they're being tactical and actually want to see the country do better. And that's why they're fighting so hard to try to preserve themselves within the presidency. It's some people look at Trump's situation as sad and pathetic, but if he's really genuine in what he's doing, then it's actually something very honorable and noble that he's doing. I didn't vote for Trump. I voted for Biden, and but I did vote for some Republican candidates. I don't vote straight party. I vote for whoever's policies makes the most sense for me at the time in their history. But yeah, I hope. Anyways, like I was saying before, Trump's effort at trying to maintain the presidency, it could be seen noble in a sense due to the fact that he believes in his country so much that he's willing to hack and just disrupt everything in this whole scheme, the natural scheme of things. He's willing to disrupt it in order to maintain what it is he feels should like what he feels who he feels should lead the country, being himself, because he feels he has the best policies, compared to all other candidates who he beat in 2016. This go around, everyone bowed out to Trump and the Republican side, and I thought Trump during the debates, I think he did decent. I thought it was a little comical the way he kept cutting on the first debate, where he kept cutting off Joe Biden and he was just digging into him. I thought that was pretty comical. I thought it was like a first for America and for its culture, and I thought it was something healthy. It was something different. It wasn't that same plain old corporate boring, uh, jibber jabber, talking about nothing, lowering taxes, raising taxes, same boring stuff that doesn't move anything forward. I find myself to be a little progressive, so I tend to take those stances like universal health care, maybe, whatever Europe has going on with their college. I believe in stuff like that. Um, but yeah, Trump, there's no way he's going to flip Detroit. I knew he wasn't going to flip Georgia because of Atlanta, and Georgia, from when I went there, was pretty blue. This isn't the Georgia of back in the day. This isn't Dixie, Georgia. I didn't see it going red no time soon. I thought Texas was going blue this year. I was proved wrong. Um, Florida, Florida's been going red for a while, so who knows what the hell's going on in Florida. I think all the rich people don't want us moving there because they feel like we're going to ruin it or something. But yeah. So Georgia's certified. Biden's a shoo-in. I think the biggest problem right now with this presidency thing, with this whole election that's done pass, that a lot of people are coping with the fact that Trump is not the outright winner. I don't know if he may win through Supreme Courts and trials and all that, but from what I read, everything he brought to court has been shot down and dismissed and proven as fraudulent. Not to be ironic when I say fraudulent, but I see a lot of people are really coping. Like, they can't fathom the fact that their candidate of choice did not win. Like, they are really going berserk. They're making conspiracy theories. They are, they're basically becoming fringe in their ideals when the fact that they won't admit that Trump lost. Like, it's sad, really, to see people this dedicated to politics. Not that it's a bad thing, but to the point where it's like almost worshiping the man and them giving up their dignity and then their I don't know what the right word is, but their dignity just to follow this man off a cliff. Like, as Americans, I feel no matter who wins, we should try to unify under that president. We should try to, understand the other side. Your side is not always going to win the majority of time. It's always going to be a fight. It might be back and forth for the next 20 years, or for the next 10 years, for the next 8 years, it just might be all Democrat. We don't know, but what we do know now is that it's not looking too good for Trump. Um, Tucker Carlson. What was this lady's name? Her name was Sidney Powell. So Tucker Carlson asked Sidney Powell for proof that to prove that there's election fraud going on, and she said she would provide the proof and all this, that, and the third, and that she's waiting on some channels or something like that. I have no idea. She said she was going to provide proof. Tucker basically kept pushing the issue. His team reached out to her. They requested that she provide this proof. Eventually, she got called on her bluff, and she threw a tantrum, and she basically gave him a cease and desist unofficially, but basically telling them to buzz off. She's not providing any proof. I think, she's basically gaslighting Trump supporters by telling them one thing to make them believe this thing, and then not actually providing the proof, hoping that they'll go off the hype, hoping that it'll cause more hysteria. These politicians, you got to understand, they're really smart, they're really versed in a lot of different fields and topics. They study all types of things. They went to college. They grew up just like us, but some of them are privileged, some of them have a better understanding of life, a better grip on reality. So when they do these things, their motives might not always be as overt or as plain to see as we may think. Uh, it's just crazy, people are turning on Tucker Carlson. I can't even say his name right. I'm so slow, but Carlson. I started following him really this year. I've always seen him on Fox, but I never paid much attention to him. But I started paying attention to him lately more and more when he started making more sense about stuff. Um, yeah, when he started making more sense about stuff, and it's crazy that the whole Trump fan base is turning on Tucker Carlson right now, and they're not even giving the guy a chance to even prove to even not even to prove, but to make his claim that there is no proof of fraudulent activities going on. They won't listen to that claim that he's making due to the fact that the other side hasn't provided the proof to claim that it is going on. Um, yeah, the whole right seems to be turning on Tucker. Before he was like the rebel, the guy who was telling the deep dark truth that everybody wanted to hear and didn't know about, that only the few handful of people who really study their stuff knew about. But now they're calling him controlled opposition. They're calling him a shill. They're calling him all this type of stuff, and I don't think it's right. I don't. This is what happens when you pander to the mob. You feed the mob, you entertain the mob, and as soon as you go against the mob's will, they eat you alive, they tar and feather you, they hang you on a tree, and it's game over for you. And this is what's happening right now with him in the right wing. I think these people are are under some kind of like mental spell where anything Trump says goes for them and is the absolute truth. I don't know if the fake maybe Trump selling that fake news concept has really dug in deep with some of these people, but it's really crazy to see the fanaticism amongst that demographic. It's really deep. I try to fathom it, but I feel sad and I feel bad for these people because I'm like, why are you people giving your whole life to this ideology? So why are you even giving so much thought to politics beyond the level of sanity? It's like, what are you guys trying to accomplish? You guys look like fanatics, but you're not gonna. All you're gonna do is bitch and moan. Excuse me for my language. I didn't mean to curse. But all you're gonna do is moan and cry in the streets, and you're not gonna. You're not gonna do anything about it. Like, you people are just gonna protest, and nothing's gonna happen. Like, protests really don't accomplish much in this day and age. Protest is just for show, is what I think. And yeah, the corporations, if they want to sell something to you, will bow down to you. But that's a whole different story, and I don't want to talk about that. I'm not anti-corporation or anti-government or anything like that, but yeah, like I lost my train of thought, but yeah, basically these people are so in love with Trump that they're turning on to credible people within their party who are actually helping and educating them, who are taking them further and expanding their horizons, who are helping them see the light through all this darkness. You know, even if they don't want to accept Biden as president, at the end of the day, I am 100% sure, and I can guarantee you with my life on it, that Biden will become president. There's no way they're going to overturn this. I don't care if they take it to the Supreme Court, they take it to any court. It's not going to happen, you know? Even though I do recognize that most on the state level, most states state courts are packed with Republicans. I still don't see Trump overturning anything. If Trump overturns the presidency and Biden doesn't become president, this will be the most controversial thing, one of the craziest things to possibly happen in the history of the United States as far as politics go. You know, Biden. People say Biden's not all there. I just think, if you really look closely at these older politicians, they all have little quirks and quips where they look like they're not all there. You know, whether it's physically, mentally. You know, I've seen Trump, slur words. Speak in different tones abruptly. Arch his back and lean on this podium. Walk funny, barely hold a glass of water to his mouth. I've seen it all. So there's a lot going on. It's just age and atrophy, and we really can't blame people. When you people don't vote for younger, healthier candidates, and you guys keep voting in these old guys, this is just what we have to deal with. You had plenty of younger candidates who ran this time around, and nobody took them serious because everyone was so hypnotized by TV mogul and the guy who has a proven track record, a 47-year history of getting things done. Um, Look, I don't know what to say, but I like Tucker Carlson. I'm not a Republican. I wouldn't even say I'm a Democrat. I feel like I'm a centrist, but I lean left. And sometimes I feel like I'm an outright Democrat, but it's hard to identify with my party at all times due to the fact that a lot of the stuff seems really trivial and asinine and childish, and it's sometimes toxic. Even though both sides are really toxic, I feel like the side that's preaching that they're morally more, higher should be less toxic. But that's another story. Let's see what the next topic is. All right, so here's another one. It says India is the first country to start nationwide biometric ID program for every citizen. Well, that's really cool. I like that idea. Biometric ID. I'm not really sure what all that terminology means. Let me see. Let me look it up real quick. Biometric ID. Do I still have the article pulled up? Biometric ID. I'm assuming. It's like an RFID chip. You know, I'm assuming it's like an RFID chip, something that's put into your body because it's biometric or whatever. Biomeasurements, and they say that they've done it also in the U.S. and Sweden for work related things. And it's really interesting. It's really interesting that the society is moving forward at this level, at this pace, to the point where it's like we're doing soft transhumanist things. Like, which brings me to another topic: Neuralink. Neuralink, I think, is a great idea, but you're not gonna catch me using the first generation or even the first 5 generations of Neuralink. One, because every time they first release something, it's always buggy and crappy, from a vaccine to to hardware. It's always trash, and I need them to study the human body more, to study it in real life events, to study it in society more before I decide to drill a hole in the top of my head and put in the implant. Even though it says it helps with concentration, it helps with mood, anxiety, it helps with fogginess in the mind, stuff like that. It just improves your overall cognitive ability, I would assume. I think that's really cool. I'm kind of scared of transhumanism, but I'm kind of for it at the same time. My thing about transhumanism, though, is I do not feel that transhumanism should be limited to us substituting our body parts with mechanics. I feel that transhumanism should be so advanced is that it complements our body parts. So let's say instead of with Neuralink, instead of carving a hole at the top of our head, I would say, create some nanobots, put them in a gel, rub the gel on your head. It sinks through your pores. It goes to the cavities, the tiny microscopic cavities in your cranium, and it just goes into your brain and starts working like little sci-fi nanomachine things. I think that's the level of transhumanism I would agree with. But for me to have like an augmented eye and I have to take out my real eye, I'm not feeling that. If you bring me like a liquid contact and I put it in my eye, it merges with my eye, and I have all this X-ray vision, night vision. I have a HUD, a HUD in my vision where I could see things, heart rate, stuff like that. That'd be pretty cool. But take on my eye and do all that stuff, I'm not feeling it. Neuralink is a cool idea, and I feel like I could find many good uses in it. I'm just not going to risk my life with it. Seems like a really cool idea. After at least 6 generations or 5 generations, and I got the money, after I see other people, especially if I see family decide to take it and it works for them wonderfully, oh yeah, I'm definitely getting it. I'm definitely getting chipped. Like, I'm not even going to lie to you. Like, if it makes me a better human being, like, why not? If it makes me smarter, like if it can increase my IQ by 10 points, yeah, I would definitely put that in my head. Like, as a kid, I remember I used to think in school, I was like, man, why do we have to spend so much agonizing hours trying to learn this stuff? I wish I could just put a microchip into my head and just learn this stuff quick or just know it automatically. And I always used to think that in school, and now as I grow older, it's actually happening. It's actually becoming a thing. So I think that's pretty cool. So this biometric ID with India, India has a couple billion people. I really do think that, but I really do think they should keep track of all their people. If India decides to become a more first world country and they start to advance, I know a lot of Indian people like cybersecurity and programming. We can't. We're only like 400 million people, and not all of us are programmers and cybersecurity experts. We can't compete with that type of manpower. Like, they can literally brute force us to death if they really wanted to, if they really, got their stuff together and their things in order. So I think it's cool that they have like some type of like social system where they're being tracked so they can like be observed. Like if anything, it works out for Americans better because it keeps us safer. It sounds kind of demented and mean, but I'm like, yo, you have billions of people. Like, what are you guys doing over there? Are you guys just gonna stay third world forever, or are you guys gonna join the future eventually in 20 years and start doing all this crazy stuff? Because I already know a bunch of Indian scammers online, and they're a whole trip. Now I know if they had an arsenal of programming languages and ways to attack vulnerabilities, it'd be game over for us. I probably wouldn't have a bank account right now. But excuse me. Yeah, I think this biometric ID thing is pretty cool. You know, I think it's a pretty neat idea. I would like to see it more. If I could just put an RFID chip into my hand and just, scan for like food and bills, like I wouldn't even have to open a bank account or swipe a credit card or type in a debit card number. I just wave my hand in front of the camera like this. It scans my RFID chip straight from my laptop, and all my bills are paid. As soon as I get my direct deposit, boom, on my RFID chip. I can never get robbed. I can never lose my money. It's always with me. It's literally in my body. I love this idea of an RFID chip. But I got about 5 minutes left, so let me wrap this up. I've been talking a lot for my first podcast, my first solo podcast. So this is just my humble beginnings. Here's the last thing I wanted to talk about. Right wing extremists are trying to turn Baby Yoda into a hate symbol. Why? Why would you want to turn Baby Yoda into a hate symbol? Yoda represented the light, the good side of the Force. He wasn't for the Empire. like, like turning Yoda into it's like, why would you want to turn Yoda into, an evil Jedi? That makes no sense. That makes no sense, right? It's just comical. The things that I discover on the internet, it's just very comical. Turn Baby Yoda into a hate symbol. Man, these people have a lot of free time on their hands. They're really demented. I don't know what's going on in their lives, but it's kind of crazy. I'm really not sure what to say as far as that, but I hope you're not successful. I'm just warning you guys now, just in case you start seeing it taking off. Do not be alarmed. Do not be worried. Baby Yoda is not a hate symbol. The Mandalorian is a great show. I've seen every episode they've released so far. I became addicted to it. I literally watched every episode in a day like a complete loser. And I was surprised at how good it was because I think the last Star Wars movie I saw was The Rise of Skywalker or something like that, and it was completely boring. I like the Han Solo thing a lot better than that one. And yeah. So yeah, that's about it, guys. That's all I got for now. Thanks for tuning into Santanology. Catch you guys next time.